understanding of the posterior corneal astigmatism, and the newer toric calculator. So in our regulatory calculations, what we are getting from the optical biometry, all these variables from axial length, keratometry, anti-chamber depth, white to white, and lens thickness, and they have been incorporated according to your choice of formulae, and they gives us a spherical component. And from keratometry, we are getting the keratometric finding and put it into the toric calculator, and we are getting the which type of lens implant we have to put implant, the model of the implant, the amount of astigmatism correction, and the axis of the implantation. This we are doing since so many couple of decades, but there we are finding some inaccuracies in this. One of these inaccuracies is the surgical induced astigmatism. SIA we are calculating since so many period, so a long period, but now over the period of time we are finding there are some technical problems with the SIA. Effect of the PCA was not understood before. Now we are having a better and better equipment. We are getting the newer, we are getting the clear understanding about the PCA and how it affects the cylindrical part of the toric calculator. The influence of effective lens position on the cylindrical power at the corneal plane. The IOL effective lens position has a significant effect on the cylindrical power at the corneal plane. We are now better understanding by the better tomography of the lenses and the position of fovea and optic disc tilt. And lastly, newer coming up is the post-operative IOL tilt. And new few generation of IOL power calculations or toric calculators are also incorporating this post-operative IOL tilt. We had discussed about my previous talk about the Panacea, and they are considering the capsular tilt factor. So we'll go in a little bit detail about that part also. So first we go for the SIA part. SIA, we all know Dr. Warren Hill site where you have to put all the data and you are getting the results of your SIA. But now what happens with this SIA part? The SIA has the different problems in the magnitude. Typically shows the wide variation in the magnitude. Means, suppose I am operating this patient with a 2.4 millimeter incision and I am getting a SIA of 0.32. And Dr. Sail is operating with the same 2.4 incision and he is getting the SIA of 0.27. So it's very wide variation in the magnitude part of the SIA. The orientation is also not consistent. All the surgeons are performing at the 180 degree, but they are not getting the same orientation on the postoperative results. The mean value is also cannot be applied as an individual, and the median value has a very less sensitivity because of the outliers. So now we are coming up with another thing that is a centered value, that is the most useful series of the cases. Now we are going in a little bit detail about the centered value. Why we need a centered value? Because of our better understanding about this vector system, and because we have a very good eye tracer system where we analyze the cornea, front surface, back surface, power and the magnitude of axis, everything can be very well calculated. So we come to know how the effect of the surgery is lasting on the cornea. And that's why what we were doing for the SIA calculation was the single angle plot. Now it has been shifted toward the double angle plot. And in the double angle plot, put all your data, and now you can apply the trigonometric vector analysis on that. And this will give you us results about the centered value. So the centered is the average of all the vectors and represents the mean SIA value. So suppose your clear corneal incision is 2.4. Your SIA, your centered value will be nearly 0.01. So you can calculate your own SIA by going this ASCRS website, and you can use the astigmatism double angle plot. Put all the data what we were doing for the SIA calculation. The same way you can calculate your centered value. Another component is the posterior corneal astigmatism effect. Now, because in 2010, Dr. Douglas Koch and Lee Wang come with this paper that the standard keratometric and topographic machines tend to yield inaccurate results in assessing the net corneal astigmatism. So they come out with a clear picture that there is a definite correlation between the anterior corneal astigmatism and the posterior corneal astigmatism. And they find out that there is a relationship between the front and back cornea, even with the rule and the against the rule. When there is a with the rule astigmatism and the higher power, higher astigmatism on the front surface, they have a little bit same corresponding power on the back surface. The same way the against the rule, the higher the ATR, they have not so much increase in the against the rule astigmatism effect on the back cornea. So what they find out is the effect of PCA is the most of the posterior cornea is steep vertically. Nearly 80% of the corneas are vertically steep. So the posterior cornea acts as a negative lens. So it creates the net plus power along horizontal plane 180 degree. So it creates the against the rule astigmatism. So patients who are with the rule astigmatism, the net effect will be decreasing the with the rule astigmatism. And for the against the rule astigmatism, net effect will be increasing the against the rule astigmatism. So now this has been incorporated by the Baylor in 2013, and they come with the nomogram. And suppose you are going for the toric calculations, and whatever the results you are getting from the calculator, you have to apply this nomogram according to the with the rule or against the rule astigmatism, and you either change your toric power T3 or T4. Either if the with the rule you should decrease it, and against the rule you should increase it. And this nomogram works very well for a couple of years. But over the period of time, we found out that this nomogram has also their own limitations because they are based on the population averages. And second is average power contribution is only there. But what about the meridian? It was not giving any idea about the meridian part. And meridian has its significant effect. Dr. Paul has again, Douglas Koch has again found out that there is a significant effect of the angular effect. Suppose your front cornea is the with the rule 3 diopter at 70 degree. And when you apply the Baylor nomogram, it gives the exact correction power of the 2.3 at the front cornea. But suppose when we are measuring this cornea, it is 2.3 at 60 degree. So whatever the lacking is the meridional part consideration that was lacking in the Baylor nomogram. So ideally we should take the power and meridian both in the account, considering as a total corneal astigmatism part. And so over the period of time in 2017, Pereira came with this paper that the posterior astigmatism will change the net power of the corneal astigmatism, and also the axis has also changed. Nomograms are not addressing this issue, but when you are measuring the posterior corneal astigmatism, they have significant effect in decrease in the cylindrical correction. So how you can measure the PCA? We have already discussed that SSOCT by IOLMaster 700 gives the total corneal power. The same way Synflux images Pentagon give us a TRCP power. The same way intraoperative optometry ORAI also gives us the PCA values. And the color LED SNE astigmatism display also gives the PCA values. Now we have two things. We are able to measure the PCA, and second thing, we have so many nomograms who are estimating the PCA powers. So Baylor nomogram or Abulafett formulas, Moglin's coefficient adjustment, or so many toric calculators are also incorporating these algorithms by itself. Now we are confused whether we have to estimate or we have to measure the posterior corneal power. For that, this is another Ferreira again come with a very good study. He has compared the 4 important toric calculators: Barrett toric calculator, Abulafett toric calculator, Panacea, and Phaco Optics, which are ray tracing based. He comes to conclusion that the Barrett toric calculator and Abulafett has the lowest estimation prediction error. He also found out that the direct evaluation of total corneal power was not superior to the estimating it. So the estimation and the measurement both were being nearly same results. According to this study, he also found out there is a limitation in the measurement of the devices. IOLMaster 700 and the comparison with the other equipments. So IOLMaster 700 gives a definitely lower percentage of the vertical steep axis meridian. And also they have found out that the nomograms works very well for the cornea, which are the normal corneas, with the rule corneas, where the steepest, it always considered as the posterior cornea as a steep vertically. But there are outliers, and the outliers are not working very good with the nomograms. So they work very well. We are going for the consideration of the posterior corneal measurements. So this is another study which was also showing the same thing, that there is a difference between the two optical biometer, there is a difference between the two corneal power measurements by the two different machines. So there is not a strong correlation between the optical biometry of biomaster 700 and the Simfluk device Pentacam. The PCA power is not the same. So advantage of the estimation is works very well for the most eyes, but the outliers are working very bad. When you are going for the measurement, they are better for the outliers and unusual eyes, oblique astigmatisms. But the problem is there is no gold standard technique who can compare the different machines. Now we go for the third. Another important part is the influence of effective lens position on scientific power at the corneal plane. The toric calculators are calculated either using a fixed ratio or by using the estimation effective lens position. Fixed ratio means the astigmatism correction at the corneal plane by the astigmatism of IOL. Suppose your corneal plane is astigmatism of 1.5, your cylindrical power corneal plane is 1.03, then you have to correct the IOL cylindrical power at 1.5. So it has been assumed by the fixed toricity ratio of the 1:1.45. But is there an effect of the effective lens position makes a difference for that? Yes, it is make a difference when there is an abnormal eye, not an average eye. So how it consider? Suppose you have a high hyperopic eye, then rather than considering the ratio of 1.45:1, you consider 1.2:1. And suppose you have a high myopia, the ratio will be changed to 1.75:1. So now all the recent toric calculators are incorporating this effective lens position system or the variable ratio with the different calculators. So this is the way the amount of the toricity ratio has to be incorporated in the toric calculators. Now toric calculator has two parts of the upgradation. One is those machines who are considering the effective lens position ratio ELP variability along with their toric calculations. Now why this is important is because suppose you are operating a patient on the Hoya or Boshelom platform and you are using those calculators who have a fixed ratio and patient has a very high myopia or very high hyperopia, there are chances of error are still there. So at that time, rather than using their own fixed ratio calculator, you should shift towards the other available online calculators. The same way, so many other addition of this posterior measurement is also incorporated by so many toric calculators like the Alcon toric calculator or AMO, Barrett toric calculator, and Medicounter or Visual toric calculator. So which calculator one should use? A calculator which has a PCA automatically added as a third vector. A calculator which has a variable effective lens position used as a toricity when the refinement in the toricity required. A calculator you didn't require additional biometry spherical component. It calculates its own spherical power by using the advanced formula, and it uses the centered value to represent the surgical astigmatism. At present, the Barrett is the only one which are fulfilling all these four criteria. The Alcon and AMO toric calculators are also very good, but the only problem is that you have to import the spherical IOL power from your calculations. So this is the Alcon toric calculator. This one is the Barrett toric calculator. Now the next which is coming up is the position of fovea and optic disc still under evaluation, but there are some findings are that the optic disc orientation in some extent may indicate the steeper meridian of the cornea. This another study shows that the degree of mid-rule astigmatism was considered when interpreting the optic nerve head parameter and peripapillary retinal fiber thickness by the Cirrus Society. But this is going to be coming up in the near future. The last and now widely talked about is the postoperative IOL tilt. Because of the better understanding and better machines of the newer OCT machines, which are giving us a lens topography. So anterior surface of the lens, posterior surface of the lens, and everything has been calculated, measured by this newer tool. They give us another terminology that is an equatorial plane position of the lens. And this equatorial plane position has also a significant equation with the effective lens position. So over the period of time, we find out there is a definitive postoperative IOL tilt factor. And this factor can be now has been found out by the newer optical biometry of IMISO 700 by Dr. Lee Wang and the Dr. Douglas Koch, that they have found out that there is a significant mirror symmetry between the right eye and left eye crystallized lens tilt and the IOL tilt both. There was a strong correlation in the tilt magnitude and direction between the post-operative crystalline lines and the post-operative IOL tilt. The amount of tilt with the crystalline was the same magnitude or nearly same direction for the IOL tilt. And another important thing is whenever you have an increase or decrease in the axle length, this tilt magnitude was significantly affecting on the results. So in summary, instead of SIA value using the center value, use the 2.4 incision 0.1 or 0.12 in 2.8 incisions. At present scenario, total corneal power estimation and the measurement results are nearly equivocal. Use the toric calculator, incorporate the center, which is incorporating the center value, PC estimation, variability to toricity ratio, and which has an inbuilt spherical IOL power calculation. And last list is the upcoming toric calculators, which are TCP measurement values, total corneal power measurement values, and in future calculating the lens tilt factor. Thanks for your attention.